Welcome to the channel about news from around the world. While you subscribe and like it, we're going to start.
The rating of the German Chancellor's ruling three-party coalition has fallen to a record low since she came to power at the end of 2021, according to the Bild newspaper. According to the polls, 70% of respondents were dissatisfied with the government's performance. Less than 40% said they would support one of the three cabinet parties if elections were held today. The so-called traffic light coalition of the German government consists of the German Chancellor's Social Democratic Party, the Greens and the Free Democratic Party. So what exactly are the residents dissatisfied with? First of all, people's discontent is that many issues are not resolved. With refugees, with the fact that some people get some subsidies and so on, these are government circles, officials. But most annoying of all is the crisis, the shortage of workers, the prices that have gone up. If before a bottle of water cost 70 cents, now it costs €2 and the salaries have not risen. People are very unhappy, and the lack of confidence in government is that they promise, they say what we will do, but they don't do it, they just procrastinate. And the small parties, which are gaining their votes in different lands, are snatching these votes away from the government parties. Parties like Alternative for Germany and other small parties are successful now, because they're constantly poking the government about their mistakes, and the government is trying to get the justice system on them and so on. Politicians suggest to solve the problem step by step and try to speak very carefully not to get the German media on them and to smooth things over somehow. But they say that refugees have to be allowed to work, and there are about 2–3 million of them in Germany who don't work, receive subsidies. The second problem is that Germany gives out money left and right, sponsors Ukraine, Africa, but does not solve internal problems. It causes irritation among people. They believe that first of all they should help themselves, and only then everyone else. That is why the government has such a low rating. If we talk about the explanations of the politicians themselves, each party in the ruling coalition blames the other parties that are part of the bloc. Rarely anyone takes responsibility. But the declining popularity of the ruling coalition is a systemic problem that started after the conflict in Ukraine, because Germany is faced with a situation where all of its previous policies, everything the ruling coalition has planned, have to be changed. People's discontent is expressed precisely in support for the protest parties. Germans do not like the current contradictions between the ruling parties. For example, the Greens and the Free Democrats are still unable to resolve the heating issue. The parties are also forced to act in a way that is not in line with their party programs. The Social Democrats now seem to be in complete breach of their own ideological guidelines and are cutting back on social programs, although they have done so before, and are instead investing more money into military issues. On the other hand, if this is not done, Germans will again be debating their government, so investing in the military budget on the one hand generates resentment, while on the other hand it generates support from part of the electorate. The same goes for the energy issue. We can say that the coalition is faced with a situation where any decision will draw criticism. Some analysts suggest that we may see the collapse of the ruling coalition. Personally, I don't believe that, because nobody wants re-elections in a situation where publicly recognized parties are losing support and right-wing populists are growing. Olaf Scholz expressed approval and support for some controversial items in Germany's 2024 budget. These included lowering the income threshold for families with children who want benefits. The savings were to be spent on the German army. The move drew sharp condemnation in Germany. The country's next parliamentary elections are due in 2025.
Thank you for watching. If you're interested, subscribe and leave a comment.